Tan Off and Running, it's our best moments of 2011. Theme music. Alright, welcome back to Off and Running, sports show where myself, Drew Woods, my partner Josh Barron, talk all the sports related stuff in New York, Boston, Northeast, or anywhere in America.
We don't like Boston, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll do what we have to do. But today, it's our favorite episode that we do every year. It's our best sports moment of 2011. Now, I picked out my top three, and Josh picked out his top three moments. And if you want to debate with us or talk about us, remember to get us on Twitter. I'm at Drew in the Woods, and he's at jbarron23. However, let's get started, Josh. I want to hear your top three first, your top three sports moments of 2011. Go.
All right, we'll go down from my third top moment to my first top moment. First, we'll start with game 162 of the MLB season. And I say that because there's two significant moments here. You got the Atlanta Braves, who as a Mets fan, I'm watching them all year thinking, okay, they have the wild card locked up. This team has been dominating. They're not as good as the Phillies, but they've been playing extremely well. They got the wild card locked up. And next thing you know, they're losing 4 straight, heading into the final game of the season, where all it needs is their game, and the Cardinals end up winning the wild card and winning the World Series. And on the AL side of things, have the beloved Red Sox.
Yeah, the charming Red Sox as they are.
Same exact situation. They were not on a 4-game losing streak. They lost their last one, but they've been struggling all September. And same situation. Win and they're in. This is a team that spent so much money in the offseason, and they just had no team chemistry. They couldn't come through, and the Tampa Bay Rays ended up winning the wild card there.
Now, Josh, you're a Mets fan. Every Yankees fan likes to take the piss of the Mets fans about the 7-up with 17 to go a couple of years ago. Would you say that these were even more embarrassing?
I'd say they were just as embarrassing. I don't know if you can say more or less. I mean, either way, this is two situations where the team had it locked up. They should have won. Should have won it, and they didn't.
Absolutely. I honestly, going into the baseball season, I picked the Red Sox to win the division. I feel like Atlanta is a little bit less talented, so I gave them a bit of the pass. But when you look at that Red Sox lineup, how much they brought in, John Lackey's good player, brought in Carl Crawford for $150 million or whatever his contract is.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, they had no excuse to blow it in the way they did, and I found it to be absolutely hilarious because Yankees blew true and through. But the Red Sox, that was embarrassing and very enjoyable for me.
Yeah, and same with the Braves. No one really talked about the Braves. Everyone was talking about the Red Sox just because they spent all that money on all those players. But it was great to see the Braves lose. As for my number 2, just happened this week. Drew Brees passing Dan Marino's record in '84 of 5,082 passing yards. And he broke it in style with a nice touchdown pass to Darren Sproles. People might argue, they were up big in the fourth quarter, they should be running the ball. But Drew Brees is an absolute class act, all 5'11" of him. People are telling him his whole life he can't do it, he's too small. Comes through, and now he's officially in the record books, one of the greatest.
When you talk about Drew Brees, you're talking about a guy who was underrated when he was at Purdue, went to San Diego Chargers, still underrated. They had no problem getting rid of him when they drafted Phillip Rivers, goes to the Saints when, it was possible he was could go to the Dolphins, and he ended up going to the Saints, completely changed that franchise around. They won a Super Bowl, and it's a recovering area. We all know what happened with Katrina and all the disasters, so it's a nice moment for that city. Everything's fantastic. He's an outstanding role model. Everything is right about Drew Brees, and credit to him and credit to the organization.
And just as an optimistic Jets fan, when Drew Brees started his career with the Chargers, I believe Brian Schottenheimer was his offensive coordinator, just as he is with the Jets now. And Drew Brees really struggled. I think he had 29 touchdowns, 33 interceptions, and under 60% completion percentage, which is, you look at Drew Brees now, that's unheard of. He leaves Schottenheimer. Next thing you know, he's one of the elites after that shoulder surgery he had in Miami. So I'm hoping Sanchez could do the same.
Typical Jet fan.
Number 1, no question here, of course, going to UConn. Kemba Walker and UConn's amazing run throughout Big East tournament, the NCAA tournament, and winning the national championship. This is a team where started off the season unranked, went to Maui, beat teams like Michigan State and Kentucky, got on the map, and everyone was saying, all right, this team, they had 2 big wins, but are they for real? The season's early. And, they played well during the season. Kemba Walker showed at times he could be amazing, and then he struggled a little bit, and then he went back to being amazing. But this team had to play 5 games in 5 days during the NCAA tournament after finishing 9-9 in Big East play in the regular season. and that's unheard of. It's just that's never happened before, where a team has played 5 straight games and won them all. And Kemba Walker and UConn went to Madison Square Garden, played day after day, won the tournament, and everyone was saying, okay, they did this, but are they too tired to make a run now? I mean, they played so many games in this many days, and they came in, they played tough teams. They played Arizona, Kentucky, San Diego State. I think they played Cincinnati early on, and then ended up playing Butler in the championship, and this team is just unbelievable to see them win a national championship like that.
Absolutely. The Big East run to me was absolutely amazing. I thought they would have been dog-tired going into the NCAA tournament. In fact, I did say on my radio show that there was no way they could make a run in the NCAA tournament after that ridiculous Big East run. But what they did was absolutely prove all doubters, all critics wrong. They were, nothing short of outstanding. Heroes left and right. If you talk about Olander stepped up big. Lamb became, a national figure. Oriaki rebounding left and right. Napier stepping up. But no hero any bigger than the man himself, Kemba Walker. He took every big shot when the team needed to. He was an absolute leader. You can tell that the team rallied around him. And, he's unquestionably fantastic. And credit to him going forward, and hopefully he has good luck in the NBA.
I think he started off his first game with 13 points, 8 rebounds. Rookie of the year is in sight. I mean, it's early, but we'll see.
All right. So, very good top 3, but let's go with my top 3 next. First of all, my number 3, Liverpool, Chelsea, at the Bridge, the 1-0 in February. Now, to set the scene a little bit, this was only 5 days after Fernando Torres had left Liverpool to go to Chelsea. Now, if you don't know who Fernando Torres is, he was an absolute cult figure with Liverpool. I mean, he went for £50 million. This guy's a world-class striker, one of the top 5 in the world on his day. And he was absolutely beloved in Liverpool. The type of guy in the first page of his book, right, I would never play for another team in England outside of Liverpool. A guy who said, I love the city, I love the fans, blah, 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 blah. Then he puts in a transfer request to leave the team to go to Chelsea. £50 million, that's $80 million to go to Chelsea. Now, how much are us fans in love with Fernando Torres? It's kind of like, if a girl cheats on you, you've been in a relationship with a girl for 3 years, she cheats on you, and then 5 days later, you have to see her with the new guy. I mean, it's the worst feeling. But we turned it around. Raul Morales, game winner, in the about 68th minute, with Fernando Torres sitting on the bench with the worst look on his face, was the best feeling. Suck it, Rent Boys. That's my number 3. My number 2 is Abby Wambach, also going soccer again. Abby Wambach at the Women's World Cup this year. 122nd minute, so we're in overtime. Ian Dark, love Ian Dark, fantastic announcer, but he didn't know the rules of the game apparently, that the game goes to 120 minutes in the second overtime, because he thought the game had been over already. Megan Rapinoe sends in a great cross in the 122nd minute. Abby Wambach heads it in, ties the game, and the women end up winning the game on penalties. Unfortunately, they couldn't close the deal when they lost to Japan on penalties in the final, but that was an unbelievable moment. Everybody had counted the girls out. There was controversy through the game after the red card on one of the USA defenders, and then on the penalty that Marta took, Hope Solo got called off leaving the line too early for a penalty, which was a joke call. She never even left the line. So dodgy refereeing, but credit to the women. They hung together, they got the winner, and it was a great moment.
And reminiscent of last year, I think in our 2010 best of, we were talking about Landon Donovan in the 122nd minute against Algeria, was it?
It was.
In the World Cup, and the same exact thing. Puts in, game-tying goal, which ended up getting USA to the next round. And, of course, as you know, they didn't end up winning the whole thing, but it was still a significant moment in U.S. history.
Absolutely. I firmly believe that soccer is continuing to grow in the United States. You look at Seattle, for Seattle Sounders games, they average 33,000 people per game, which I believe is outstanding. This last year, the MLS actually surpassed the NBA in average attendance per game, which, I mean, you wouldn't think, but credit to the MLS, it's growing. Credit to soccer, it's growing, and as a soccer fan, I hope it continues to grow. However, we're from Connecticut. We are baseball through and through for all of our lives. Baseball is my first sport. The Yankees are my first team. It'll always be that way for me. So, of course, there could be no other than my number 1 sports moment of the year was Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit. The Yankees have never had a 3,000 hit player before, which is amazing when you look at all the history. It's the greatest baseball organization that's ever been, and in my opinion always will be, but that's bias. Derek Jeter's 3,000 hit, great moment. You're talking about the ultimate professional and somebody who, actually deserves a worthy milestone such as that. So that's my top three.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many great figures in Yankees history, but he's the captain. He's Mr. Yankee, at least of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any Yankee that you're going to see do it, it's going to be him.
Absolutely. So those are our top three each moments of 2011. Thanks for joining us. What we want to do is have you guys tell us what are your top sports moments of 2011. You can either write down on the YouTube page below, or send me a tweet at Drew in the Woods, or send Josh a tweet at jbarron23. Keep on keeping on, everybody, and watch more of our videos. This is Off and Running. Thanks.